A big thank you to AG1 for partnering with me on this episode.
If you want your home to look designer level expensive without the designer price tag, you're gonna love this episode. I'm showing you my absolute favorite high-end DIY home decor ideas from this year that look custom, curated, and expensive, but are actually super affordable. From IKEA hacks to budget art dupes, from chic furniture makeovers to elevated outdoor upgrades, these ideas are bold, beautiful, and totally doable. So let's jump in. So this first one were some mahogany side table dressers that I found on Facebook Marketplace for $200. And they were a little rough around the edges, but that's what we were trying to fix. Aren't these dressers so beautiful? So we're gonna try to restore these without painting them. You know, maybe one day down the road I'll paint them, but I really think that they need to stay this color. And I think we can make them look really good again. We started out by removing all of the hardware. Then I decided to give all the hardware a really good cleaning with some Brasso, and that really polished them up a lot. There was a couple of chips and a couple of spots where they had been worn down. And so I took one and I colored on the stain before, and then one I did the stain after I did the cleaning. So I'll tell you kind of the end results of what I think. But ultimately I took some this tried and true sealer, which is a boiled linseed oil, and then it has a hardener in it. Now this is something that I used on a similar style of furniture years ago. Boiled linseed oil totally brought it back to life, and I was hopeful that it would do the same in this case. And it totally did, just using that. And then you wait about an hour, and then you come in with a new white cloth and you keep buffing it out until it doesn't have any more resistance for it. You'll feel it when you're wiping it after it's been sitting for an hour. But I was comfortable enough after that hour to go ahead and reapply the hardware on the dresser. These dressers are a perfect example of a high-end furniture flip. The dark mahogany gives them a touch of luxe custom look. It's hard to believe that they were from Facebook Marketplace. This is what transforming someone else's trash to treasure really looks like. And they were perfect for on either side of that fireplace. They were exactly what I was looking for. Next up, we have a Pottery Barn dupe art. This year, I launched a new series, Buy or DIY. I had a lot of fun breaking it down into more depth of how I go about duping high-end decor. This particular one was so much fun. Pottery Barn wants nearly $4,000 for this artwork. If you can see that, that's $3,897. Now you can't get this in the store, so you will need to spend the money on shipping plus tax and all of that. You're gonna be well over $4,000. So today we're gonna recreate this. And the first thing that I want to do is go and find an inspiration piece here. So we're gonna go into Amazon and see if we can't find a wall mural. Immediately I find a few of them. So this one could work, but this one right here really, really works. And we are going to screenshot this art, okay? So there we go. This is our inspiration. So we go to ChatGPT, which I have a love-hate thing with AI. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna be recreate a version of this image that looks similar but is different enough that it doesn't infringe on copyright. Make this big enough to be 60 inches tall by 90 inches wide. So then you can add an image. So we've attached our inspiration picture. We've given our instructions of what we want ChatGPT to do. This could go either way. This could turn out really good or it could turn out really crazy. So let us hit that and just see. And then generally speaking, it takes not too long. I mean, less than a minute. And I do have the $20 a month paid version of ChatGPT, so that may speed up or slow things down depending on what plan you have. Okay, so it's starting to render and it looks similar-ish. Let's see what it does. That is pretty darn good for the first time around. Now, if you wanted to adjust anything about this image, you could totally do that, but I think it looks good. So all we need to do is click on the image and hit download. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna divide this into 3 images, but before we do that, we really need to go out and shop and see what we are able to find in the way of frames. We're here, let's go grab our frames. I'm leaning kind of towards this because it has a little bit more warmth to it. Finding the right frame was actually harder than I thought. I couldn't find the perfect size locally here. Building one didn't seem to make sense financially, but IKEA came to the rescue with something close enough and we're gonna move forward with that. But before we can put them in the frames, we need to divide them on Canva. So what we're gonna do is Canva, you can get a free one and it's very user-friendly. Now what I did is I created a new template that is 24 by 36. We're gonna take the image that we just created and downloaded, put that on our canvas. Now we need to stretch this and hopefully we've got it wide enough that it can stretch into 3 individual pieces. If not, then we're just gonna have to crop it until we can make sure that it touches the top and the bottom and gets us the 3 images that we need. So now that we've got it stretched, we need to create 3 equal images. Now you can see I already did one earlier and you can play with like the color tone, color variations and have it look like a little bit more sepia tone. So these are a couple different iterations that I did. Then the next thing you're gonna do is you're gonna go to Walgreens and then we go to the photo and I want to do the adhesive poster because I like that it has the sticky backing, but I also like that it has a matte finish on it. We're gonna be at 24 by 36 and there we go. And then we need to go and pick them up. Okay, now we're gonna run to Walgreens and pick up our prints.
Never been so strong with anyone.
Okay, so we did one yesterday and tested it out. And so I learned from that. And what I learned is we don't want to do it all the way up close because for whatever reason, it just never lines up super perfectly, even with your best intentions. So I'm gonna just move it in a little bit. And this is some foam core poster board that I picked up that was good. And we've gotta do this slowly and carefully because this stuff is sticky. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna not peel it all the way off at all. We're gonna be very careful. And I am gonna try to line it up top here. Now, we're gonna just very carefully peel off a little at a time. Nice and slow. That way you don't get any puckering. Okay, cool. So I've got this blade and we're gonna try to be very careful. I tried to use this yesterday when I did the first one. I don't know if it actually helped or not, so we're gonna just see. All right, that's pretty good. So that is our art print. And it's nice and sturdy and we can move on to framing it. So we are going to set this piece aside. We're also gonna set this aside. We're gonna set this back here, I guess. We're just making all kinds of messes. And we need to pull off the plastic on the acrylic. We need to attach this to our mat. But this will give us a nice flat surface to work on. And then what we're gonna do is set this in here, make sure that we get it lined up correctly. When you like how it's set, we're gonna make a couple really small, very light pencil marks to mark where the corner goes. And what I am using to mount these are, it's basically double-sided stick tape, but this is meant for like a rug. So we're gonna just put those on the corners and a couple in the middle. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna flip it over and line it up. And there we go. So instead of putting it under the mat, we're putting it over the mat because that's how it was in the inspiration. This is a spacer. This gives us a little bit of room. And it kind of broke it, but we'll be okay for this. How did we do? The texture and depth give it that designer gallery feel without the crazy price tag. It's a statement piece that elevates any room and shows how easy it is to create high-end decor on a budget. All right, before we jump into the next decor idea that totally transforms your space with almost no budget, or a very low one at least, I want to share something that seriously has transformed my mornings and nightly routine for the past couple of years. And honestly, it's kind of become my secret weapon. And that is AG1, but now they have a formula called AG1 Next Gen, and I've been using it as a part of my daily health routine. You've probably heard me talk about AG1 before, but this is their upgraded formula. Years of development and 4 clinical trials went into this, and it shows. In the mornings, I just add 1 scoop of Next Gen into cold water, and sometimes you can add juice if you like. And then I shake it up in their shaker bottle, and it blends super smooth. Then I just add some ice, and then I fill it up the rest of the way with water, and then I shake it up again. And then everything is better with a cheetah print straw in it, because you know me, I love my cheetah print straw. It blends super smooth, and I actually love the taste, and they also have some other flavors as well. My energy levels in the morning are so much more consistent. I don't get that afternoon crash anymore. It's made staying productive on big DIY days way easier. I also take a couple of drops from their D3K2 bottle. It's a really easy add-on that fits right into my morning routine as well. And this part is really exciting. AG1 is now including brand new sleep supplement called AGZ. It has been a total game changer for my nightly routine, calmer evenings, better sleep, and I wake up actually feeling refreshed, which is super important for me because of all the DIY projects I'm doing, particularly right now building a fireplace wall. And get this, AG1 has their best offer ever right now. When you click on my link below, you'll get the welcome kit, which includes this super cute morning person hat. Isn't it adorable? A year supply of this vitamin D3K2 I mentioned. And then of course a flavor sampler and a free trial of AGZ, the sleep support. It's $126 in free gifts for new subscribers. And again, just click on the link in my description box or the QR code. AG1 has been one of the easiest ways I've supported my health this year, and I've got a lot more energy to finish these DIYs. Speaking of which, let's jump right back into the next one. I really enjoyed this Buy Your DIY series, so if you really like it and want me to keep doing it, let me know in the comment section below. It seemed like you did when I did do that. So there's actually a few from that series that I'm going to be including in this list this year because they just turned out really good. And this next one is no exception. This one is another Pottery Barn dupe floral arrangement, and let's see how I did it. We are going to paint it. Now, we want this to be very convincing, so we're going to do several different layers, and we're gonna be very careful with our painting. We're gonna spray paint it in this Krylon Fusion Matte White spray paint. That's coat one of like about 50 that I'm gonna do. I'm just kidding, not 50. But we'll let that dry and then we'll move it around. I don't know, we'll do some more coats. So here's our two pots. They look really, really good. So I got another spray paint that we're gonna take it out into the shop and do like a light dusting of this Snow White that has like a satin finish. We're not gonna do a heavy coat because we don't want it to become satin, but we're gonna just do like a light dusting with that. Then hopefully it will be a total great match. I got the floral stems from Temu for $36, including tax. All of our flowers we got were less than 10% of the cost of our inspiration ones. And all I did to arrange them was just bend all the stems, kind of similar to the ones I found at Pottery Barn. We're gonna grab the flowers. I've already kind of fluffed them up and tested them out in here, so. Okay, let's see if we can slide those in. This was very beginner friendly, I promise. Anybody can do this. This floral arrangement was a bit of a challenge just due to the time of year and only that reason alone. But I think we nailed the pot like spot on. Doing it ourselves saved us so much money while still getting that high-end luxury look, a total win. Now the only thing that would have made this better is that I did buy lilac, and in the springtime is the time you get lilacs, not in the fall. So just keep that in mind. Next up, we have another one of the Buyer DIY series ones, and this one was such a fun challenge to do. It was a Pottery Barn dupe zebra pillow. Let's see how I did. We have this kind of tone-on-tone zebra print pillow, and I have found at IKEA some that are like, the fabrics are really, really close. Now it's about getting the pattern correct. And I got on Canva and I found some zebra stripes that were similar, and we could maybe use those. However, I had an idea to get this exact pattern, and the idea is using parchment paper. We'll pull it open and you can see through it. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm going to tape two pieces together, and then I will trace the pattern out with that. This is how we're gonna do it. I'm gonna just take either a fabric pen or a pencil to trace this. So let's start. Going to need a way for the fabric from the velvet pillow to adhere to our other pillow form. So I am going to use heat and bond that we picked up from Hobby Lobby and press that to the back of the pillow. This will also make it easier for us to cut because it kind of stiffens it up. With this prepped, I laid our pattern over the velvet and we pinned it into place, then carefully cut it out. Then I peeled off the backing of each of these zebra stripes and laid it into place the best I could, and I ironed it on high heat, no steam, for 8 to 10 seconds to make sure that it sticks in place. We'd need to stitch around the edges because otherwise it just feels less nice. So I've got to find the right color of thread because this is a little off of this, right? These two match pretty good, but this one has a little bit more yellow in it, and so we need to be able to transition it to where we don't want to use bright white, but maybe some kind of ivory color to tie those in. But look at that, we're looking pretty good. Okay, so here's what we've got so far. It's not perfect, so anywhere that I feel like needs a little bit more stitching, we can go in and fix, and then maybe go in and clean up some of these edges a little bit, but we're looking pretty good. I'm really happy with it. I did a zigzag stitch around all of the edges, and now I may have rushed this a little, and you'll see in the end that I probably should have taken a little bit more time to do this and maybe been a little bit more particular. Okay, so here we go. It's pulling a little bit because there's some strings that haven't been clipped on the back, but we're looking pretty good. We got all the stitching done. It's not perfect, but hopefully like when we get it all put back together and everything, it will look really good. Then we needed to stitch up the sides from the pillow form, and that was it, other than stuffing our IKEA pillow form inside the cover. This pillow is giving designer drama on a dime. The bold print adds texture and interest, and it's a great example of how small accents can make a space feel curated and expensive. All right, this year I went on a trip to Utah and we did some things on my other channel, DIY to the Nines. If you haven't checked that channel out yet, definitely check it out because that's where I do some of my larger projects. So like the room makeovers, building a fireplace, renovation type things. And while I was in Utah renovating a condo, I took my daughter to the thrift store. That is a cute TV stand. That one we could paint. Yeah. I've got a truck. What do you think, Riley? Do you need a TV stand?
I do.
For the living room?
Yes.
Honestly, it doesn't need much, like a couple of cute baskets and some paint.
Sand it, make it a different color.
Oh, do you want it a different color?
I have a sander, yeah.
You have a sander?
Well, I do. Yes, I do.
Okay. They offered us a paint lid lifter, and then of course I thought I had one here, so I said no. And now we're using this.
There we go.
Reveal.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, so pretty. That is gonna be awesome. That's coat one. We're gonna let it dry,
Yes.
and the inside, we haven't done the front of the door yet because we're letting the inside dry, and then we'll close it, and then we'll do the outside really good. Woo-hoo. But coat one, now let's go work on the knobs. Do you want to spray paint them?
Yeah.
All right, let's do it. Okay, so my daughter just left, and I have that secret project that we were gonna do, a floral arrangement. She was telling me how much she loves having fresh flowers in her house, but she's a poor college student, so I found these Real Touch ones at home on 50% off, and this was on 50% off, and I'm like, maybe she can have the look of real fresh flowers without having to spend the money. And so we've got this. You might be going, where in the world are you, Natalie? Well, I'm in Utah, and I'm renovating our rental condo here, and so we're under construction. We just got the granite put in, but we still don't even have plumbing connected or anything. It's gonna be fun, but it's gonna be on my new DIY to the Nines channel, so make sure you go subscribe there if you don't wanna miss this renovation, because it's gonna be a big one. If you watch my Arizona home makeover, it will be similar to that, not quite as big, so it's gonna be fun though. So I'm trying to decide if I want to bend the stems or if I want to cut them. So I'm gonna try bending it first, but since it's kind of clear, I think that might look weird. Yeah, I think that's gonna look weird. So I am gonna just cut it with wire cutters. There we go. We need to get some more stuff in there so that it's got a little bit more structure. I liked all of these. I thought these ones were super interesting. Actually, I might cut this one off separate. Okay. Can you believe it was only $25? I need those prices around here at our thrift stores. But in the end, total designer magic on a thrift store budget, and I just love how it turned out. And I think she did too. Now this project is a little bit bigger of a project, and I ended up doing a more in-depth tutorial on my DIY channel. This one was launched before we did the DIY channel, so it still was on Designed to the Nines here, and I just loved it so much. It was one of my favorite projects from this year, so I thought I would share it with you now. We are gonna be extending my back patio out a little bit further, replacing the sorry excuse for a garden. So we're gonna clean up now. We'll put my boys' like football and kickball away, and then we'll clean up all this debris and get it looking cleared out, and then we can start figuring out how to level it, because that's where it's gonna get tricky for me. It's a little overcast right now, but I am sure grateful for it because it's hot, but the overcast is cooling it down for me. So I've almost got this all leveled out, and then we might take a break. So I have a couple of neighbors who do pavers for a living, and they are gonna come and help us figure out how to do the foundation, just because I've never done it before. I do think I could figure it out on my own. However, this will be quicker. We'll be learning how to do it from a professional. It's an affordable price that they're gonna be charging me. So I just thought it would be really good for this first time to have somebody come help us. So my neighbors arrived, and we've got Ariel, Carlos, and Carlos, and they are going to go start hauling off some extra dirt so that we have it down a little bit lower, and I will just kind of record what we're doing as we go along. They're gonna prepare the area for us, but then we're gonna do our patio. Now that it's been tamped down, they're gonna do one more thin layer to just make sure that everything is nice and even and there's no low spots, and so they're really polishing it off in a good way. So they just finished up, and I am out here enjoying this space. It's so beautiful and relaxing. This time of night is like heaven on earth, and it's why we live here. Are you serious? Hopefully we don't have to do a lot of cutting. Even my lens is getting messy. So I still have center marked from yesterday, so that's center. And we're gonna do these half pieces first. We're gonna make sure that everything is nice and straight. Okay, so I need to make a more tricky cut. I'm going to need to use my oscillating tool with the diamond blade. Wicked tired. This is a lot of work. Woo, I just made myself really dirty. But we're gonna keep pressing on because we are so close. I'm just gonna go until I cannot go anymore, and I'm hoping that means either completion today or darn near close to completion. So let me show you where we're at right now though. Okay, so we have this area to do. We have one tricky cut to do right here, which is one of those other tricky cuts. The rest should be pretty straightforward. And then that area, and then across the front here we just need to do a whole bunch of halves, and then it's basically the same amount over here but without the tricky cut. So we just have to do like some halves over here. Pray with me that we can get this done. It would be really great to go to bed tonight and not have this to do in the morning, if you know what I mean. So we're gonna press on.
Never give up, never surrender.
And we're gonna be so proud of ourselves when we're done. Well, at least I know my safety glasses work. I am done for the night. I couldn't look more ridiculous. Can we all agree? I am gonna go take a shower and go to bed. All right, it's time to finish the job. What we're gonna do is we're gonna do a border here at the edge. And the one I got has a scallop, but I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna try flipping it upside down so it's nice and even across. They just didn't have a straight across one. And I hear thunder, so hopefully it will hold off for us to be able to finish this job. So here we go. Okay, so I dug a trench right on the edge. Hopefully we can put these in upside down, and then we'll backfill it and be done with it. My screen brightens it up more than it actually is. It looks actually quite ominous, but I have one last step to do, and that is to sweep the sand into the cracks. It would be really nice to get that done before it rains because it will help set it. So here we go. We just had 20 minutes of torrential rain before I could finish spreading all the sand. So before the sand dries, now that it might be sprinkling, but it's pretty much done, I need to get this pushed around, but now it's wet sand and that makes it infinitely more hard. And my border, I'm not exactly thrilled with it, but we're gonna try to get this done. This sand is very, very sticky. If I don't pressure wash it now, it's gonna be probably really hard to get off. So we're gonna pressure wash it again, like well, everything. Like I even need to re-pressure wash the rug and stuff. And if I have to go get some more sand and re-sand it when it's dry, we'll do that. Checkerboard pattern instantly makes the outdoor space feel elevated and high-end and gave us so much more additional patio space and no more tired, sad garden. Oh my word, this next one was one of my favorite thrift store finds I've ever found, and that was a popcorn machine. This was like just sitting there right as I walked in, and I'm like, oh my goodness, I just have to get this. I immediately knew I wanted it. What it doesn't have is a cart. So what we're going to be doing is, first of all, we've got to do some cleanup. There's some little kid stickers on it, so we've got to clean that up. Honestly, if you ever come across one of these, I would totally snag it, because when I was looking through Facebook Marketplace, I found that people are renting these out for parties for between $75 and $100 a pop, pun intended. Anyways, for what we essentially paid for this, we could make it back in one like rental. And I'm not saying that we're gonna do that, but that is a really cool business idea for you guys. If you ever come across one of these, it could potentially be a moneymaker. Before we go to all this work, we probably should make sure that it works. I just assumed that it did. Let's see if we can turn it on. It does work. It works, yay! Okay, we are gonna start our popcorn cart. I think I'm gonna switch to my circular saw just because I need to do wider than my table saw can go, and I feel like I'll have a little bit more control over it. So that's what we're gonna do. Gotta wear my Aaliyah safety glasses, tactical grade. We're gonna protect our eyes and look cute at the same time. Here we go, let's see. Okay, so we've got the first piece cut down, and what I've decided to do so that I can get some nice square edges I'm a little concerned about is I am going to cut it down to 17 inches. Then I'm gonna run it through my table saw to get the cut nice and straight, and then with whatever's left over on that, then I will shave off that amount so that we get nice square 16-inch squares. So here we go. Okay, so we've got 3 sides and a brace. So now we just need to decide where we're putting some pocket holes. And I think what we're gonna do, these will be the shorter pieces. Pocket holes will go into these ones, I think. I'm gonna just trace where these are going, so we know where to put the glue and all that. And then we gotta make sure which one's the inside and which side is the outside, because there's definitely sides that are better. So we're gonna do pocket holes here, here, and here. We'll use wood glue, and if we need to, we can reinforce with some finished nails. Yeah, let's just drill some pocket holes. Let's do it. All right, here we go. piece that we are going to do pocket holes on 3 sides, and it's gonna be our bottom piece. The side that has the paint mark on it is the side that we are not going to put pocket holes on. Okay, we kind of have a cabinet box here. So then we need to do a door, and yeah, we're making progress. And anything that's uneven, we will Bondo and sand and make it look good. We're working on it. Okay, so I bought these wheels off of Amazon primarily because I could get them fast, and I also liked the idea that they were like a never flat wheel. They're not like my absolute favorite, but due to time and all of that, decided that it was the best option. So we are going to prime them. You can see I've already taped them up to paint. We're gonna prime them first, and then we are gonna spray them in a beautiful gold color. So that's what we're gonna do. Okay, here comes She Vader mask. We built the basic box, and I haven't done the cabinet door yet, but we'll work on that in just a second. What I want to work on now is attaching the legs. I bought these ones. They were a little expensive, but what I have realized in building the box is I can cut these in half, and that will work for each leg. So I only end up needing to use 2 of them. You know, it might be a little bit difficult to place the legs where I want them. I have some scrap wood that I think this will be perfect for. And we are going to build like basically a frame that then we can attach the legs to. Make sense? The first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna cut out the frames to do this. And yeah, so here we go. So I'm going to literally just hold this up, take a pencil. So this is the piece that we want. I'll put a smiley face. So we'll make 2 of these, and we'll do one down here, and then we'll do some braces this way, and then we'll probably attach them with some more pocket hole screws, and then we will attach our legs. So here we go. We are gonna now attach 2 of the legs. Then we're gonna have a tricky thing because we've got to do the wheels. And so we gotta make sure that those legs are the correct length. So this is gonna be a little bit tricky, so okay. We're gonna take some 3-inch screws and screw them in. So now, this is the tricky part. We need legs to attach the wheels to. So like one side's wheels, one side's, that's just gonna be a little tricky. So in order to get the height, we're gonna need to line this up. So what I think is we want it to go just below. That's not like a very awesome mark, but this will help us tremendously. So that is 11 inches. So these ones were 16 inches. The front ones with the wheels on it will be 11 inches. So we're gonna cut those now, and then we'll attach them. So, all right, let's go cut 11 inches. Okay, we are gonna fix some of the imperfections with Bondo. So I have decided to put some cross support just to make the legs a lot more sturdy. We're gonna just cut them down, use wood glue and nails, and that's how we're gonna do it. Because I need these shorter and I want to flip it over and paint it and all these things, I've just taped on some extensions so it will stand up straight, and right now we're going to do some caulking and do some other things. So here's how we're looking pretty good, huh? We've got to do a very, very important step, and that is the wheel situation. Now this wheel situation kind of messed with my head a little bit, and so hopefully I've got this and hopefully it will work out. Here's our painted wheel. Isn't that cute? So what we need to do is we need to put these on either side, right? Basically, we need to run this. This is gonna act as our axle. We're gonna run this through. We need to drill some holes for that to work. So we're just gonna mark where the holes are, and we're gonna do it in the same spot on both sides. We're gonna make sure it's very centered, and we will do the best we can here. So here we go. Because I thought this would be ugly, I got some PVC pipe to put in between to cover up the mechanics of that. So we're gonna cut this down. I think if I do it really carefully and slowly, I can do it on my miter saw. So there we go. Let's get the measurements. Oh my goodness, it's awesome. Because it's raining, we are gonna be priming it in here. We'll see how it goes tomorrow. We're gonna prime it tonight and then we'll paint tomorrow. So I've kind of covered it as best I can. We're gonna be careful. I've got the garage door open, and so we're ventilated very well, but I'm also gonna put on a mask. So here we go. Today is the day we finish, and I'm so excited. This has taken me a little bit longer than I expected. We've let the primer dry overnight. We're gonna do a light sanding with a fine sandpaper before we then spray paint it. And I know spray painting it seems kind of a little odd, but I am trying to go for that sprayed finish that is on our popcorn machine and try to match that up. And I felt like this might be the best option. Maybe like part way through, I'll change my mind because it doesn't look right or whatever. But I've decided to go with no more drama. This is bare. So here we go. This was such a fun and unexpected piece, and the makeover gives it that retro chic charm, perfect for our movie room. It would also go good in a game night space. It is a great conversation starter and so much fun to have. We've really enjoyed it. This year, I also did a lot from the IKEA as is section. I found that it was so much fun because not only was I getting like the IKEA pieces and the IKEA prices, but it was like almost visiting like a thrift store, like in their clearance section, their as-is section. And one of my discoveries brought me to their Anthropologie mirror, but it needed leveled up. The first thing, I mean, just looking at it, it reads very, very cheap. The gold is not a very pretty gold, and it just screams IKEA, and I want it to have a high-end feel. I wanted to give it some of the detail work on the frame of the gleaming primrose from the Anthropologie. Is probably one of the most duped items ever. And it's because it's classic, it's timeless, and it's beautiful, let's be honest. So I want to turn this IKEA piece and make it look a little bit more like this really bougie, nice piece from Anthropologie. And so I had some half round beads in my stash. I've had it for years. I think I got them off of Amazon. So if I can find that, I will link them for you below. So I started by spacing them about a thumb width apart, and I got them all spaced, and then I started gluing them on, and I got them all glued on. Then I was like, I think I have enough to get it a little tighter, which is what I wanted to do originally. I just didn't know how fast the beads would get sucked up. But it must have been meant to be, because when I glued those beads on, it was the exact amount. I had just enough to fill in those spaces, and I'm so glad I did, because this really looked so much better. Now what I needed to do is tone down that kind of weird gold color, and you're gonna think this might be weird, but then I started by painting a black, and that black kind of bleeds through in the end, and you kind of see a little bit of that black ages it. And then you'll notice that I don't just kind of paint it on, and I didn't go out and spray paint it this time. This time I just tapped it in and pounced it all over. And what this does is it not only doesn't give it full coverage, but it gives texture, and that is the reason why I do this. Then when I switch to the gold leaf rub and buff, which is such a pretty gold rub and buff, it's one of my favorites, I did the same technique. And I use a chip brush, and I just pounce it on, and that adds a little bit of texture, which I think levels it up a little bit. Now, you don't have to cover all of the black, and that's kind of the point of doing the black, is it gives it an aged feel. We covered most of it, I would say, but you don't have to be like super careful when doing this. Then the one thing I love about rub and buff, and the reason why everybody is so obsessed with it, is because it dries almost instantaneous. So it's like instant gratification. Plus, I mean, it gives a really nice finish as well, but it's like that instant gratification. It's like, ah. Once it's pretty much instantaneously dry, I just take a paper towel and go over it, buff it out a little bit, make sure I grab anything like that maybe didn't fully dry, and then it's ready to go. We're probably into it $70. So that is a tiny fraction of the cost when you compare it to the inspiration one. And speaking of Anthropologie, do you think I should do some buyer DIYs from Anthropologie this year? Let me know what stores or items you would love to see me dupe in this coming year. This year was also a fun year for Aaliyah. Now, we didn't release any like big tool items. It really takes a long time to really custom curate all of these pieces, do custom molds, and really get what I want. We are getting close on some of those products, but this year we did release our Aaliyah crafting mat. This silicone mat is amazing. You can spill epoxy on it, you can spill glue on it, paint on it, all of that. It was such a fun product to release, and you guys have overwhelmingly loved it. So that is super, super exciting. We also released my nitrile gloves to protect your hands and your manicure. They're thick, they're amazing. You get a ton of them in a box, and it has that classic Aaliyah style. Of course, we still have our drill and safety glasses and all of that, but this coming year, we're really gonna try to get our battery-powered hot glue gun release, crossing the fingers, and we've got some other products under development. What product would you like to see me release next year? Put it in the comment section below. So this one was a really fun project called the DIY lantern planter, as somebody lovingly called it, the plantern, and it was so much fun to create. I have a really cool idea for this lantern, even though it's in really, really rough shape, and it's something that I've been wanting to do for a while. So the first thing we're gonna do is clean this up really good, let it dry, and then we're gonna tape everything off and we're gonna give it a fresh coat of paint. So we're gonna start with the cleaning. Now we're gonna build a planter box to hang our lantern on. And I am thinking that it needs to be at least 6 foot tall because of how beefy this lantern is. So like that. And then on the bottom, we'll have a place for plants, or maybe fake ones in my case. We're gonna cut this down on my miter saw, and it may not quite cut it because it's 12 inches wide, but we'll just flip it over. It's just a little bit easier to manage than my table saw sometimes, or a circular saw. It's just easy peasy, so that's what we're gonna do. We are gonna build the planter out now. So we're gonna decide what piece is what. We want the best piece in the front. These are a little curved, but maybe it won't notice. Okay, so this one's a side piece. Maybe that side. And which one do we want to be the front? Which one's the smoothest? This will be the front. Okay, so this will be this side. So we are gonna use some wood glue and some nails. We're gonna definitely need some clamps to kind of hold it in place. All right. Okay, do you think we're gonna be able to repeat that? All right. This was gonna be our other side piece. So make that the top and this the bottom. Now, honestly, we could stop here because we've got the planter box and the long board and the spot to hang our lantern from, but that would not be very designed to the nines. And I have like a lot of scrap wood left over from other projects, decorative trim. So I think we should up the ante a lot and add decorative trim around the box and on the main part of the body and really dress this up. What do you think? I think that it will look really pretty, so let's do it. We are gonna start right up here at the top. So I've mitered the edges on this, and we are going to wood glue everywhere we can. Okay, line this up with the edge. Okay, and then I cut corner pieces so it could wrap around the sides. So we'll do those next. And then we have this piece to cap it off with. And it's a little rough around the edges, but we will make it do. That's good for now. I may do some of this decorative molding here or here. We'll just see how it goes in the rest of the area. I may leave it plain. Now we're gonna do some over here. Done trimming it out, and now we are gonna putty and caulk and get it ready for paint. I really do feel like that extra trim work is what took it from a cool project to a wow-worthy, professional-looking project. And definitely don't skip the caulk and putty. That also makes all the difference.
You're the rose in a garden, and it shows if I'm honest. You're the leaves in mid-August, and I've come out here to say that I love you. Ooh, ooh, you, ooh, ooh.
All right, so I had to put the screws in on an angle because of like where the holes are connected, so I just used a little bit longer screw. And either way, it's on. We are done. So now we are gonna flip it up and go plant it up because it's finished and I'm excited. So we have it in place, and here's the issue. So this was a hardwired thing. I found this, and this is the closest thing that I have been able to find that will work, because we need like the skinny base, the candelabra base. If y'all can help me out, if you know of a rechargeable light bulb that looks more like this, that would be awesome. These are not very attractive. However, they will work. So they're really not cute though. But at night, this will be fun to have another additional light. I don't know, maybe we don't worry about it. If you have another idea, I thought about doing an uplight and like just leaving the regular bulbs in and doing like a solar powered spotlight that's faced up here.
And I've come out here to say,
yeah, they're really not cute, especially when the plug, I'm gonna have to fiddle around with that. But look, they are light, but they are really ugly. If you have any other ideas, I really don't like these light bulbs. They're the best option I've been able to come up with. So hit me up in the comments section below if you have a better option. And anyways, these are controlled by this remote. You can do different colors, whatever mood you're in. And you make them brighter or less bright. Not cute, but yeah, let me know. Now, if you love this look and you want to recreate it, I do have another option if you're willing to spend a little bit more money. And that is going with the solar powered light fixture to begin with. I found this one at the thrift store and I thought it would be really, really fun to do. I actually have a different spot for this on my back patio, so it's going somewhere else. If you are building this from scratch and you're willing to spend that money, this is totally the way I would go, because this is solar powered. I mean, I've got to disassemble it to get, this has got the packing styrofoam still in it, but do you see how it has the solar power panels on it? This is gonna be really, really cool. Stay tuned, because this is going somewhere else on my back patio. So we've got a lot of outdoor content coming. We're gonna go ahead and plant this up with faux flowers, of course, don't judge. But I wanna add a little bit of weight first. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna put in these blocks right here. These are leftover pavers and they're quite heavy, and we're gonna put in maybe 2, we'll see how many fit. Okay. Okay, so that's what it looks like. Hopefully that's enough, and then I'm gonna take this soil and dump it into here. Now you might be asking yourself, why is she using garden soil when she's using fake flowers. And the reason is this garden soil is only like $2 a bag, super cheap. So that's cheaper than floral foam, especially for how much we need. And it's outside, it gives a realistic look, so I'm all about that. So that should give us a base to push the flowers in. And I think we'll put this one back here and then put 2 on the front. Don't these look realistic? I either overwater or underwater plants always. And so I love the look of flowers, but I know I'm gonna kill them. And so when I saw these, I was like, this is perfect. Totally give me the look I'm going for without the maintenance. There we go. Oh my goodness, isn't that pretty? And I love that we added the white. It really brightens up the black, you know, because I've got a lot of black, but I'm brightening it up with a lot of white. We'll tweak this until it's just right, and I think that looks good. This was kind of a clever upscale DIY, trying to take a thrifted lantern and attach it and give it a planter vibe. Turning a thrifted lantern into a planter gives it that boutique feel, that high-end vibe. It looks expensive, but was actually super affordable, built with mostly scrap wood, and it really made an impact. Next up was my outdoor Ballard Designs planter with the lion's heads, and this one was so very simple. Another thing that I wouldn't spend $400 on, or in this case $300, is this Ballard Design planter. So it has a gray base and it includes this topiary ball, and it's $300 from Ballard Designs, and I love it. I think it's classy, timeless, never going out of style. What I did is I took our white planter that I found at the thrift store. I believe we spent $9.99 on it. We're gonna spray paint it black. And She Vader mask, here we go. Okay, we're safe. I can't breathe, but we're safe. Okay, I love how that turned out. So good. For those of you who watched my recent frame hacks episode, I teased a little thing that I was going to be doing with these lion heads that I 3D printed. They're not as tall as I wanted to do, but I already printed them, and I think that they will still add the effect that I want to, but you can adjust the height. So in the future, I might make them a little taller, thickness wise. We are going to use some liquid nails to attach these into the centers. I think lion's heads are so classy, and I think it will be really fun to add it on this particular project. We can't use hot glue because it's really hot and humid here in Florida, so the liquid nails will withstand the heat and humidity. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna glue them on. Then I've got a big topiary ball that we're going to add to it that is from an old project that I did a few months ago, and it was a Pottery Barn dupe. So I love to get that high-end look for less. Glad I didn't put these on prior to spray paint, because I like that this has a little sheen to it from just being printed out in the black. This is pretty, so I think I want to pair them together. So that's why I was kind of wondering if doing this more like square would be good. I might have to play around with this over the next little bit. Should I angle things? Should I put it like that? And then like that. Oh, that's kind of nice too. These little details give major luxury curb appeal. The lion's head detail feels regal and custom, and the dupe saves us hundreds of dollars compared to the Ballard Designs version. Such a smart way to upgrade your exterior. The next one I want to share with you is the IKEA hack epoxy pour resin table, and let me just say that this one kind of gave me a little run for my money. So we are going to take these trays off. We are only spraying the outside of this, and we don't want to get the inside of this gold. There is a tiny little hole, so we're gonna put a little piece of tape to cover that hole on the inside, and then we're gonna flip this upside down. We're gonna flip that over, and then we're gonna use my favorite gold spray paint, which is this metallic gold, 18 karat gold by Krylon. I get this at Hobby Lobby. It's out of stock at a lot of other places, and we're gonna spray paint this. I also have the garage open. There should be good air circulation.
She's giving me these feelings that I've never felt.
And we're mainly focusing on the outside of the ring because like the bottom side is not really gonna get seen. We'll do a good job, but like we wanna make sure that the color is saturated on the outer ring.
She will never know, never know,
Now it's time to share with you my plan, and I am so excited about this. This is honestly something that I've wanted to do for a long time now, and I'm so glad that we finally get to do it. And that is, we are gonna be doing an epoxy like resin pour, and it's gonna be like 3-dimensional. So we've got a nice solid black backdrop, and the underside is gold, so you'll see a gold rim on the outside. I just think this is a nice added embellishment that makes it look a little bit higher end. Now, I found similar tables to this online, anywhere from like $250 for like a very simplistic one to like $500–600. And I just know that we could recreate this for much less. So we're gonna give this a whirl, and I've got this resin kit here, and it's a half gallon of each, so maybe like a gallon total. And then of course I have this resin mixer, and then I've got a Dollar Tree bowl that we're gonna be using. And then I have a whole assortment of flowers. I went over to Hobby Lobby and got into their like small like wedding pick section. We don't have a lot of depth in this tray, so we can't have anything like really big. Basically got pretty much the whole rainbow represented. So I thought it would be really fun to stick like 1 or 2 of these in our design. So the first thing that I want to do is decide the design of how we're gonna have this, and I'm gonna design it in one, and then we'll just very carefully transfer it over into here when we're ready. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get it designed, then I'm gonna take a photo of it, because I think it's gonna be in layers, so we're gonna have to like disassemble it, if that makes sense. So. Okay, so I've got it planned, still very full. It looks like a big garden in a little spot. The first thing we need to do is remove this tape that we put on here to make sure that the spray paint didn't come in. And then what we're gonna do is put a tape on the outside to make sure that the epoxy resin doesn't go out the hole. So then we are gonna pour it into here and hope that our tape is gonna hold strong. We're gonna carefully transfer this over, so I probably should have separated this sooner. Our first layer of resin has dried, and I love it. Isn't it so cute? But guess what? I totally messed up. This right here is sticking out too far. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take a little tape to get like the level. So we're gonna try here. I'm gonna make some marks. We're gonna try to trim it. If it looks too weird, then we're gonna have to like try to pull it out and then like replace it with something, because we can't leave like a weird hole. We're gonna flip this over. It's gonna be cutting it close on several of these flowers, but this one was really bad. Let's see if we can kind of melt the edges on these. That actually did help. It's like wilting them a little bit and curling them in. That is working really good. All right, I hope that's gonna work. And I decided to do it in here for a host of reasons. First of all, I realized that this resin, whatever I got, is low odor and it is not stinky. And the reason I did it outside is because I've worked with some epoxies and stuff before that have been very, very stinky, and that is not the case this time. Okay, here we go. And we are gonna start pouring it and hope we've done a good job. Okay, what are we gonna do? Some of these wanna stick out. I'm trying to just push them down, and it's pretty full. I mean, I can probably fit in a little bit more in a couple areas, but it's pretty full. I'm gonna go get a pair of scissors I don't care about ruining, and maybe like some tweezers, and we're gonna very carefully clip off some of these. I was so worried about the big one that I thought we were gonna be okay on these other ones. No! You guys! What do I do? No! Wait, I gotta get a level. Do I have a level in here? It looks like my table might be slightly off level. No, my table's level, so that must be curved. I don't know what to do. I have made a ginormous mess. Oh my gosh, I'm making even a bigger mess. I've totally ruined this. No! So here's what we did for the second time around. I got out one of my little mini epoxy kits and tried to epoxy things into place. It honestly didn't really help that much. I'm not sure why. It was kind of a little bit of like a wasted effort on that, but it didn't like hurt anything. It just was just kind of not helpful. So I just went ahead and mixed up a little bit of resin and very carefully poured it over the design that we had created. So I tried to pour it and like hit it from the top down so it stayed right in place, and that actually did work really, really well. And so I got that first layer in, and then I let it dry overnight. And then so the next morning I poured and mixed and poured another batch and filled it almost to the top. And I have a little gap, and then I have one little tiny leaf that's like poking out, and let that dry. Really good about this. There's still a little wiggle room if I want to do one more layer. This epoxy pour is stunning in the end. Did we run into some issues? Yes, but that's DIY for you. It adds that custom artisan vibe to a very basic IKEA piece. The final result? Outdoor furniture with a serious wow factor. You know I love me some cheetah print. So this next one is a chair makeover of something that I already had that was damaged. So you may recognize this chair. It was in my breakfast nook at first, and then I ended up getting some chairs that I liked better. They're nicer. These are great, I mean, but the other chairs are just nicer. I love cheetah print. You might know that about me. On the front, I was thinking we could use some of this cheetah print fabric. That's the same fabric I used on my dining chairs. And I thought that was kind of fun and sassy, but we wouldn't just stop there because that would be not Natalie. So on the back side, I had this already in the stash, and I thought it would be really fun to put the striped on the back. So that would just give it a little bit of interest and fun. And I think these work really great together. And so we're gonna just have a little fun and just do the back, and we're gonna make it kind of an upholstered thing. So the first thing that we're gonna do is we're gonna rip this out the rest of the way. There we go. Now, I might hang on to this caning because maybe we could use it in a small like craft project. And we can also use it kind of as a template when we're cutting out the fabric. And there we go. I can feel that there's like pokey things sticking out here. I guess we could pull those out, but I really do think it would be a wasted effort. We want to cut it just bigger than what's here, and we will start stapling it into place. I bought this Ballard upholstery staple gun, but I liked that this tip was a little bit tighter because we're gonna be working in like a tighter spot. I wanted to give it a try, and it was only like less than $40. It might've been like $35. It is pneumatic, which means it needs to be attached to an air compressor. You would need an air compressor for this. We'll cut out the fabric first, and then I'll grab my safety glasses because we are working with some staples, and you gotta protect your eyes. So here we go. And now we can attach that. But you can see it's woven fabric because it looks the same on either side. So this is really good quality, and it was just been hanging out in my stash for years. So I'm excited to use it. So this is gonna seem like a little bit weird, but we're actually gonna attach this fabric from the front so that like when you see it on the back, it's completely finished and like the rough side will be on the front. So we're gonna tape it into place to make sure that everything is facing the directions that we want it to. So we've got 3 stripes. Once we get it pulled, it will be just the 3 stripes though, and I think that will be good. We're gonna go north, south, east, west, or west, east, but basically we wanna stretch it from the middle and then work out. There we go, yeah. Okay, so there we go. We got the first one in. It looks really good, and now we're gonna take those scissors and we'll just trim off the excess. So I couldn't find a high loft batting, so I'm going to just go ahead and double this up. Give ourselves a little bit of breathing room to kind of wrap it where we want, and then we can go back in and cut off the excess. And I'm actually not going to even bother cutting on that side because we could just cut that off after we've stapled. Okay, so we're gonna go like this, then we're gonna layer that, and then we're gonna staple that into place. Here we go. We are going to first take our memory foam, our foam piece, and we're gonna get it in there as centered as possible. Okay, but in order to hold that into place, we're gonna put batting over the top. That looks good. Okay, we just need to put our cheetah fabric. So we'll cut this out now. We're gonna just lay our fabric over the top, and this is gonna be amazing, I can tell already. And we're gonna just hopefully get it in the right spot. So then we're gonna do halfway here, halfway here, halfway here, and then we'll fill in, just like we've been doing on every one. I am really liking this. Now that we've got that all stapled on, we're gonna cut off the excess. That looks really, really good, but this is probably not very pretty, but we're gonna fix that. So we need to finish up the chair with some welting, and we're gonna just take some of this cord, and hopefully I have enough to do it. It needs to be a double welt. So all I'm gonna do is we are going to just kind of outline here And that is about how much we need, and then we need to double it up. So double up, and then that should be approximately, we'll give ourselves a little wiggle room. We can create our double welt that will go around here. So meet me at my sewing machine. So we are going to make our double welting, and we are gonna need approximately 2.5 inches. There we go. So we've got 2 pieces. That'll be plenty for what we're doing. So now we're gonna sew these 2 pieces together just so we have a long contiguous one. Because it's got a busy pattern, I don't think you'll even really notice. So we are gonna do that now. You put it on a little bit bigger stitch on something that this woven. Clip off the loose threads. Now we have our seam, and you can't really see because it's like just spots. And we are going to create our double welting. What we're gonna do is we're gonna take our cording, we're gonna put that in the middle like so, and then we're gonna fold that in on itself, and then we're gonna fold this over the top like so, and see how it's in there, and then we're gonna run the stitch right down the middle. And then we're gonna make sure it's longer, like a 4 or a 4.5. This is the setup. And there we go, we're done. This chair is fierce, and so me. The cheetah print adds an unexpected glam, and it totally transformed my damaged piece into a designer showstopper. Now, I need to do the other one, so I have a matching set. Still haven't gotten to that yet, maybe next year. Okay, this next one was also a damaged piece that I already owned, that it needed a little bit of love due to a wet towel. And that was my French scroll table makeover. We have got a section that is about 8 inches by 10 or 12 inches that is in need of some love. And I was like, do I just rip it out and fill it full of Bondo and paint it out and make it all one color? But I figure at this point, it couldn't look worse. So if we ruin it, it's already ruined. And if it doesn't look good, we can just Bondo it and paint the whole thing black.
I had a backup plan.
We're gonna go ahead and we are going to attempt the veneer. What we're gonna do is we're only gonna take out like the damaged sections here. We are gonna take a steamer and steam it. So hopefully that will heat up and loosen up the glue, and we'll scrape off what's there. And we're gonna try to inset a veneer in this table. And then as far as the base of the table, we may change out the color on this as well. Let's start by just getting rid of the damaged veneer, and we'll just go from there. Here goes nothing. Okay, here we go. We're gonna just try to aim it right at the damaged area. You want to make sure that you leave that iron on that spot, get it nice and hot. Then once you remove the iron, let that wet towel sit and like get all of the steam in it. Then you can carefully peel it back. And it came off in much bigger chunks when I did it this way. We are going to tape off. So we're basically taping off the section and keeping the area that we don't want to remove kind of protected. So I've been letting this sit for about an hour. Now I'm gonna take my Rowenta. I was trying to find my crappy one, but I don't know where it is right now. So I am also going to be putting a parchment paper in between just to try to protect my iron a little bit better because I really love my Rowenta. I think the heat mixed with the wet towel should hopefully help lift this easier because it was not going too easy beforehand. So hopefully it will go good this time. Okay, it was a little surgical at times, but we got that piece out. It's all right there. Kind of a mess, but I'll clean it up. I am going to inset this to where it goes, and we're gonna make marks. So that will be right there, right on that grain. I've got a carpenter's square here, and we can line these two things up. And I think we're gonna cut this. Now the good thing is I have extra if we don't quite get this right. You can see it's got a pre-glued backing. That seems fine here. This is really weird. Something's crooked. So it's like just a little bit crooked. So that makes things a little trickier. Actually, I think we can make this original one work. We're just gonna have to trim a little bit off of the side here. Hopefully this one fits a little better. Okay, this is the best we're gonna get. Here goes nothing. This is pre-glued, so the backing has got glue and it's already sticky. We are gonna very carefully get it started. Then I just took a dry iron this time, not a hot steaming one, and then I also put down a nice piece of parchment paper. So the parchment paper kept it nice and protected, and I just ironed that in just as I would with edge banding, like you would on the edge of a shelf. This was so much easier. Okay, so we're just gonna take some wood filler and fill in some of the cracks right around here, but also I've got like a pretty big gap here. Now we'll get it covered up and then we'll start sanding. I look ridiculous, but at least I'll be safe. So the important thing is with this is to kind of level up your sandpaper. So you're gonna start with a really low grit, like a 60 or 80. I had an 80 and that seemed to work out okay. Then I went to like 180, and then I went to a 220, and this got it a whole lot smoother. Okay, now it's time to stain. We're gonna be using this Verifane gel stain in the color Kona, which is the same stain that I used on my old fireplace mantle in my last house. It's a rich, dark, beautiful wood, and I think it's gonna be dark enough and deep enough that it's gonna disguise the fact that we have a patch on the table. Hopefully. So let's do it. Just in case I spill when I'm stirring. I mean, even look how opaque it is on the stir stick. So let's see how it goes. All right. Okay, I think we're disguising it really, really well, actually. I think my plan is looking like it's succeeding. I love it, I love it. And And while it was drying, that is when I went to tackle the base of the table, which the white was nice in my other house. It just wasn't making sense in here. So I chose to paint it out in Sherwin-Williams Black Caviar. Now, you remember that last time I painted this table and used a sprayer indoors? Yeah, we're not gonna do that this time. I mean, it ended up being fine, but I think it was more work than it needed to be, and we're just gonna go ahead and paint this with a brush. We're just gonna start from the inside and then we'll work out. I will say painting it with a brush took a little bit longer. The nice thing about using the brush is I was able to get into a lot of those finer details that are on the table. I can't play right now, baby girl. I can't play right now. I gotta paint. Go get the boys. Go get the boys. So I have forever loved this style of table, and that's why I am trying to fix this one, because I haven't found anything similar to this look that I really, really loved. If I were to switch it out, I would probably switch it out for like maybe a slightly larger version of what I already have, because I really love this look. The only thing we have left to do is the polyurethane on the tabletop, and I decided to go with a matte finish. I want to do 2 coats. This is going to be really great. We're going to put on the first coat, let it set a couple hours, and hopefully we'll be able to install it later this evening. So I'm super excited. Okay, and I'm going to be using a foam roller, and hopefully that will work. And I'm just going to dunk it into the can. Now, I know that maybe doing a matte finish isn't as going to give us as like long of lasting as a finish. I don't think anyways, as like a high sheen, high gloss, that's gonna be a little bit more durable. But this is our formal dining room table. We are not using it on a daily basis, and so I felt like it was okay. I just thought it would look really, really nice to have a satin paint finish with a matte finish on the tabletop. I just thought that would look really good together and really high end. So that's what I did. Then I let the last coat dry for 4 hours. I got my son's help to put the last piece on top because it needed to line up well. And you guys, I love this table, but it was damaged from a wet towel and I needed to try to save it, and I'm so glad I did. I love switching the white to black. It went from something a little bit more shabby chic to something a little more sleek and more in line with my current home, and I just loved it. Okay, we've got another Pottery Barn dupe, or in Pottery Barn inspired, but this time we used Dollar Tree vases. So this one was inspired by Pottery Barn's Meredith vases. Now this is a set of 9 vases for $179, and I thought they looked really beautiful, but $179 is a lot of money, and I knew we could do it for a lot less. We are going to be taking 3 different sizes of Dollar Tree vases, and the first step is spray painting them in a white high gloss spray paint, and once those dry, I'll show you what we're gonna do next. I'm trying this one out. It's kind of crazy, maybe a little overkill, but I think I need to adjust it a little bit, but we're gonna give it a whirl. Coat number 2. Now we're gonna paint the bases of these vases. And I went back and forth on the color to pick for this, and I ultimately went with Iced Coffee by Folk Art in a matte finish. I actually went and picked out a whole bunch, but I actually have a Pottery Barn, a real Pottery Barn vase that's kind of a similar idea with the clay pot exposed. And so I kind of went with the one that matched to me the closest to that, so that we'd get something similar. So hopefully it's good. So all we're gonna do is take a chip brush, brush it on the bottom, and we will be done with this project. The cool thing about this is it does not need to be exact. It's very organic and natural. And the rough edge just is part of the look. And some of them can be lower and some of them can be higher. So like
This one I might take up a little higher than that last one because all of them were at different levels.
In the end, these look so high-end, right? The clean lines, the neutral tones, it's hard to believe they all started at the Dollar Tree. This dupe delivers big designer energy on a shoestring budget. Next up, we are gonna have ourselves a little bit more lion's heads. We had a little fun with those this year for sure. A black planter with lion accents. But that was not it. We did a matching tissue box, and let's check that one out. My inspiration pieces are the Paws and Claws collection. There was like a planter box that was about 6 inches by 12 inches, and that one was $120. Then I found the matching tissue box cover, and that one was $58. So really expensive, but really, really cute. I love the little lion head detail on it. If you've been watching my channel, you know I've got some lion heads out on the front of my house, on the base of the pillars. And so I wanted to bring some of that in. I loved the black, I loved the gold, and I just knew that we had to give it a try. So the first thing that we did is I found a box on Michaels. I also found on Michaels the tissue box that we're gonna use for the sister project. So this is the box I got from Michaels. I think you could probably find a box like this at a lot of craft stores, and it's the same dimensions, 6 by 12 inches as our inspiration. The one thing, my one big complaint, and I don't know if you can see this, but there is some texture on it. We're gonna also be doing the tissue box, as I mentioned, and this one is kind of what I was hoping for. It's very smooth, and this is ready for paint. On the end here, there's some kind of rough spackling. So I feel like we need to get this a little bit smoother. I just want it to be a nice smooth finish because that is what our inspiration one is. So that's what we're gonna do right now. While that is drying up, I also got these from Amazon, and they were a really good price. The shape of it is perfect, and I don't know if you can tell on camera. It's nice, but it doesn't look super high end. So we're gonna rectify this by spraying this in my favorite gold spray paint, which is the 18 karat gold Krylon spray paint. I use this a lot. The little feet that I ordered as well, I'll link all of this below, I got from Amazon, and they're not exactly the same color to begin with, and it's kind of the same thing. It's kind of not a beautiful rich gold, so we're gonna spray these as well. I'm gonna go ahead and open up my garage door, put on a face mask, and make sure there's some good circulation in here while we spray paint this. So that's up next.
That looks so much better than it did. It's just a lot less plasticky looking even. I don't know what to say, but it looks way better.
Okay, it's dry. We're gonna sand this, and then once we've got it nice and smooth, we are going to spray paint it in a satin black. Doing that putty was an absolute waste of time. All I needed to do was sand. Should have known, but you know, it looked like it had deep grooves, and now we're just gonna go ahead and paint this. To be honest with you, I am not overly thrilled with the paint finish on these boxes. Let me show you. It's just kind of uneven. You can see right there really well. And you can kind of see the knots in it there. And it is possible that if I were to do a third coat of the spray paint, it could maybe work. You see the unevenness on that?
If I'm gonna do a third coat, I'm gonna use something that I'm a little more confident in that will get me the results that I want. And I just know that it will give me a prettier finish. And so if I'm gonna paint, I'm gonna use something that I know is gonna work. So I am gonna actually use this emerald paint that I found. And I'm gonna try like a sponge brush to begin with. And I have a roller here if I think we need it. So let's start. I see some like brush strokes, even though this is like a sponge brush in it, but I'm hoping that as it dries, it will kind of settle. It typically does. And so that's what I'm hoping for, and there we go.
So now it's time to finish our black boxes and our tissue box and add all the fun embellishments. It's gonna be so amazing. Doesn't that look good? Woo! Before we finish off that long box, we're gonna go ahead and do the gold tape on here. And I learned from that, we're gonna do the vertical lines first, and then we can cover up the edges with the one that wraps around the top and the bottom, so. Now we're gonna run it around the entirety of the top. But first, let's get rid of some of this excess paper. And now it's time to put the feet on. And we are just going to set them on the corners like so. And we'll start with those two, and then we're gonna very carefully screw these in. You know what, my drill bit might be too big. I might have to go get a tiny little screwdriver. I don't know if this is gonna be strong enough to get it in. It's not very high powered, but the drill bit is tiny, so we're gonna try. Okay. Now to get on these little handle things, we are going to be using a 5-minute epoxy kit. Now we just need to mix our kit. And how you do that is there's these little things that you have to break off on the inside. And then cut that off. And then you squeeze the contents of both sides, maybe. And then you take like a popsicle stick, or in this case, I just grabbed a bamboo skewer, and you stir it up. And then you have 5 minutes. So we're going to very carefully center. I'm going to squeeze some of this construction adhesive on. Okay, so I've taped those on while it's drying. And the reason I didn't go with screwing it on is because it came with much longer screws and I just didn't have shorter screws. And so we're gonna go with that. So bold, so beautiful. The black with a lion detail feels grand and dramatic. It's such a great way to make your space feel stately and intentional. Even the smallest details matter. This tissue box is the perfect example of functional decor that still looks upscale. It adds just the right touch of luxury to any room. Okay, so I found this urn that I really loved, but the color, not so much. Let's see if we can make it into something amazing. I got a little urn, and I really wanted to kind of get this Pottery Barn vibe that has like that green with like the terracotta look. I took it out into my workshop outside and I spray painted it in this green color. And it felt like a little avocado-y at first, and I was a little nervous, but I knew I needed to see this through. So then what I did is I took some of the iced coffee paint that we've been using in other things, and I painted the base of it. And then I added some chips around the top edge to kind of mimic some of the stuff that you would see at Pottery Barn, and made sure that like some of the roughness of the brush showed up on all of that. But then it looked, you know, hand painted. It didn't look authentic or aged. So this is where you get the antiquing wax, and this comes in and it's gonna change everything. So you kind of dap it on and wipe some of it off. And if you get a little too heavy, you can go back in with like a very dry brush with the iced coffee and kind of fix that a little bit, and you keep layering it up. The antiquing wax really ages it down and makes it look more authentic. By the time this was done, this looked so stunning. I know it's like earthy and rustic, but this looks super classy as well. This urn makeover is so gorgeous. The green patina gives it such a rich and historic feel, and you'd never guess that it came from a thrift store. It's true high-end dupe with timeless style. Every one of these projects proves that luxury isn't about spending a fortune, it's about having vision, creativity, and the confidence to DIY your dream space. Whether you're transferring Facebook Marketplace finds or hacking IKEA staples, you can achieve a high-end designer look for less. So if you're feeling inspired, be sure to like, subscribe, and let me know in the comment section which project you loved the most or what space you're tackling next.
A big thank you to AG1 once again for partnering with me on this episode. Don't forget to click on my link or the QR code to get $126 worth of free items. You are going to absolutely love them and feel so amazing.
I have so much planned for this upcoming year, and if you enjoyed this episode, here's another one that I think you'll like as well. And until next time, remember, you are powerful. We'll see you next time. Bye.